Brother Ron, and welcome to We All Be News Radio and TV, the news-free Dixie for the 21st century.
And we used to have a saying, you know what it was? Are you ready for the revolution? If the revolution hit now, could you get up and move fast enough to be part of the revolution? Or would you remember when they walked around with these Converse tennis shoes on, and then they got the leather ones, the Nike basketball shoes with the laces undone, where if you tried to run, you trip and fall on your face?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. Are you ready for the revolution? Got the wrong kind of clothes, you can't move fast enough. Got the wrong kind of clothes, you can't camouflage yourself and blend in.
Mm.
So when we buy clothes, deal with the revolution. Speaking of which, suits and ties and stuff, I tell young folk now, you know what suit and ties are? I said they're urban camouflage, so can't nobody tell what you're about, except you're likely to have something going for yourself. You walk around here looking fly, you stand out. It's like waving a flag. Here's me, come get me.
It makes sense because I would think about American Gangster. Nobody know who Frank Lucas was until he wore that fur coat and that hat to that Ali Frazier fight.
His wife got him.
Yeah, white guys. And who's that guy next to those guys? Or even I'll look at some interviews of some like black drug dealers from back in the 80s and stuff. A lot of them started noticing that when they started driving those flashy cars like Maseratis, is when they started becoming targets by law enforcement, getting pulled over and whatnot. So a lot of them started going low key. I think Freeway Ricky Ross said he was driving a funeral hearse at one point to keep a low profile.
Yep. Keep a low profile. Looking up here, Lucky Luciano, John Gotti. They dress sharp with custom-made suits.
They're very flashy, right? Yeah.
No, not flashy. They had custom suits and ties and shirts. White shirts, good ties, properly tied. Good, well-fitted suits. It might have been flashy, but it was the right type of flash.
Yeah. I got through John Gotti had a big mouth too. He brought
that on himself.
Right.
You know, maybe he's not a good example, but you know, it's like, hey, act like you got some sense.
He's from Queens too, like Donald Trump is. Big mouth.
Yeah, and he had a whole lot going wrong in his life too. I guess he was just trying to compensate, but he sure messed himself up.
They brought some people down with him, but but why is about the government? I'm actually just should ADOS people be paying for taxes, filing taxes?
You better. They'll lock your ass up.
I was saying, you think, I know what they do. But I'm saying, should people who come from people who built this country with no compensation and no benefit to themselves, should they be taxed?
Partially, yeah, because you live here.
Okay.
And they can tax you, and they got the legal right to. So what are you going to do if they decide to come down on you like they legally can? You going to hold your ass in your hand on my, I'm being defiant?
Well, what about you remember that case with a FedEx pallet, the lady who wrote to the IRS and asked them that question, is it legal for them to tax her, or should she, can she not, file taxes, and they never responded. So for 5 years, she would fail her taxes. And they took her to court, and she beat it in federal court. You remember that case?
No, I don't, frankly, but I'll take your word for it. But she's lucky if that's what happened.
Yeah, because the reason why she was able to get out because she wrote a letter to the IRS and never responded. So for 5 years, she owed them approximately almost $300,000, $250,000 of taxes.
Well, you know what that is? That's called jury nullification.
Okay.
You know what that means?
What does it
The
mean?
jury says, I know we've heard what the law is, but we just kind of pissed off here what we heard. We aren't going for it.
They was kind of deadlocked, and they met again, and they ruled in her favor. But like, even
Well,
with your friend Wesley Snipes, though, you don't think he had a point with the tax situation?
well, that isn't what he got convicted of. He got convicted of failure to file a complete set of tax returns. And I was present at the sentencing hearing. Hell, I testified. I was one of the witnesses. And IRS gave evidence that he had overpaid his taxes by $250,000.
Hey, he still went to prison.
Yeah, he had an incompetent lawyer, basically.
That's crazy, man.
His legal staff was one of the worst, I'd say, in all of my years of watching lawyers. I've only seen 2 performances that were worse. I was cringing. It was so bad. The judge got mad at his lawyers. He said, Jesus Christ, Mr. So-and-so, the court's trying to help out your client, Mr. Snipes. Would you put on your character witnesses? That's on page 9, and the other points you brought up was page 11 of your brief. The coach read it, sir. Now, can you move on?
Judge, why did Snipes didn't go to you, though? Why Wesley didn't go to you?
Well, I wasn't practicing law.
But come on, like some advice, like who could you could you make some references?
Well, considering a long friendship, I did talk with him. I'm not going to say what we discussed. I also talked with his wife, who, by the way, put together a more coherent appellate regime than his lawyers did. She brought in some who were just helping him, being nice.
Wow, this is crazy. I mean, like, I think about the tax. Come look at Joe Louis, how they did Joe Louis, the government did, especially IRS. They destroyed Joe Louis, and he was a patriot.
Yeah, I understand that. Now, here's the other thing. Why in the world do all of these Negroes all of a sudden love the FBI and all of these federal agencies that have jacked them around so badly in the past?
Right. That's crazy. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's a Stockholm syndrome.
That's one explanation.
But then, what about people who say, well, Judge Joe Brown was a prosecutor and a judge? I mean, I hear people tell me that stuff online. I was like, man, just do your research.
Well, see, here's the deal. My thing is, I said career prosecutors are some of the most dishonest people out there. Johnny Cochran was a hell of a defense lawyer, but he started out in the DA's office in Los Angeles. If you are there temporarily to learn your trade and you're conscientious, what usually happens is you can't take it anymore, so you quit. It's the same thing here. Being a judge, yeah, you can be your traditional asshole of a judge, or you can be a judge who's essentially the village chieftain and who decides what's wrong and right and dispenses justice for the village. It's the chieftain.
I mean, for example, with you, like the James L. Ray thing, you came up big.
Yeah.
I mean, that helped a lot.
Yeah, it was a thing where the American public was being fed a bill of goods. The FBI supplied the murder weapon, the ammunition, and set it up. And nobody knew enough about the subject of ballistics who was involved with it to say yay and nay. The Congress, in their report, they relied on the perpetrators of the crime. The whole case was fouled up. It depended upon the rifle being the physical evidence that was independent of the plea of Ray, since he never confessed. And it turns out that in the record, the FBI couldn't identify the rifle as being the murder weapon. So they had no firm basis for accepting his plea in the first place. And then we get into the fact of the matter, not only was there no match between his rifle and the bullet they pull out of King, there are the distinctive characteristics related to that bullet that are reflected in 5 rifles that the FBI got by invoice in late December 1967 that match what got pulled out of King. And the ammunition they got on invoice matches what they pulled out of King. And then in late April 1968, when the Defense Department demanded return of the weapons, the FBI was compelled to do an inventory, and they said they could only find 4. One of them had gotten lost. That's the one that killed King.
Wow.
But see, we look at all the black folk. We got to defend the FBI from Trump. See, that's what's wrong, too, with the Democratic Party. What the hell have they come up with that's an affirmative answer to some of the problems that we have? Is all anti-Trump. So you want me to vote for you because you are against something, but you offer nothing in return, except who gets to piss in the girl's bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I'm sorry, but that's not my fight.
Well, you know what it's sad to see is John Lewis, Representative John Lewis, how he's really become a big-time advocate for the LGBTQ. He's a civil rights icon.
Who's that?
How he is that? I heard that. I ain't gonna get. Why you say that? Why you say he is that?
Because he is. That's self-interest. It's his right to be what he wants to be, do what he wants to do behind closed doors, but he's one of them, for goodness sakes. But he snuck in on us. We think he's black civil rights icon. He's one of us doing what we want. No. He's gone beyond that. He is LGBTQ, and when we put him in, that's what he does, not stuff for black people. Because
there's nobody in Congress.
For example, back to the subject we touched on. How in the hell is an open border with no controls in the interest of black people? None. So why in the hell is, okay, that's not our concern. And it's not a matter of discrimination. It's a matter of enforcing the laws that are on the books. If we tried to sneak across the border, they'd jack our ass up. So why should somebody that's not a citizen be allowed to disregard the borders with impunity and flaunt the law?
Because being an illegal immigrant and being gay is like being black. That's what they say.
Yeah, well, that's what they claim. It ain't like being black. You look like you. I mean, we get jacked up where we live for not even doing something wrong.
Right.
Well, we want to get all worked up behind somebody. Well, your ass snuck across the border. You ain't a citizen. You don't have a visa, so you don't have a passport. What the hell are you doing here?
See, when I look at Trump and the FBI and all this stuff, I look at his white on white crime. Like, Trump is fighting the deep state. He's fighting the CIA. He's fighting the FBI. He's fighting other people we don't understand. I mean, these white folks, the Knights of Malta and the Illuminati and all these other, the Vatican. See, this stuff that we, as black folks, it's not even our concern to us. We're not even organized among ourselves. We don't even have a code.
Wait a minute. You go over to the Catholic Church here in Memphis off Presley Boulevard. And you will see all of those knights wearing swords. They're black folk in the Catholic Church.
Well, they didn't want to say slavery was okay as long as we was the ones being traded and used. Man.
Knights of Malta are another thing entirely, but I mean, it is what it is. So,
or Jesuits, yeah. But I'm just saying, like, I just look at us. We fight the fights that we don't need. Like you say, we fighting everybody else's battle. They're using us as cover, and it get time for us to get some payback. Is none to be had because we didn't ask for anything. We didn't demand that people respect what we had to get. So I'm just saying, like, we need a history lesson. Like, a lot of us are not aware of the history of the sacrifices that came. Because I can remember as a young person, Randall Robinson, when he was asking for reparations and United States addressed the debt owed to black Americans, and it fell on deaf ears, it seemed. I mean, he had hunger strikes and all this other stuff, But even Callie House, the former slave from Nashville, she started the ex-slave pension movement in this country, which was the foundation for the UNIA. A lot of folks that came from that movement went into Marcus Garvey's UNIA, United Negro Improvement Association. So we have a long track record of our people asking for our needs to be addressed. I mean, we even had the Black Panthers with the 10-point platform. And I asked people, have y'all read the 10-point platform? And these so-called activists said, what's that? I never heard of the 10-point platform. They never heard of it. They never listened to a whole Malcolm X speech in its entirety. But yet they say they love Malcolm X. This is like, it's weird. It's just age we living in. It's upside down.
Yeah, it is. It's called being aware. See, a lot of people do stuff in ignorance.
Mm-hmm.
And ignorance technically is lack of information or lack of knowledge.
Right.
And we believe stuff passionately and don't have any basis for the belief.
Mm-hmm.
We don't book, we don't study, so we get stuff second and third hand, and we heard it at a cocktail party. It becomes our reality, which is crazy.
Yeah, like when somebody asked me the other day, that I look at the Grammys, I said, has Tupac ever won a Grammy? Hell, has Bob Marley, has anybody I like ever won a Grammy? What do these awards mean? Like, it's like a lot of distraction, like you said, it's bread and circuses. Like, we just good just to entertain people.
Yeah.
That's all we good for. And like, even with the Gladys Knight, Judge, like, people still mad at Gladys Knight, but you're not mad at the black football players that played the football game, the Super Bowl?
Oh.
And I look at, Robert, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I said, nope, we're not. And then don't forget the Wisconsin legislatures where they told the black legislators to go to hell. They wouldn't put Kaepernick in the list of prominent blacks.
From Wisconsin.
In Wisconsin.
Yeah, he's from Milwaukee, right? He's from Wisconsin?
Yeah.
Okay.
And see, the black caucus there could have just as easily said, go to hell, we'll come up with our own.
Yeah, but it's got we confused, or even with like how they try to do Angela Davis down in Birmingham. Now, I don't agree with a lot of her political views now, but she did do some things back in the past that she deserves some respect in her hometown. And they said because her stance with Palestine. I said, what they got to do with black people in America, though?
Yeah, what does that got to do with you? They don't exactly treat you well if you wouldn't treat you well if you went there.
Right, right. It's crazy, man. We don't know what we find. We confused, man. And now people that supposed to represent us, they have betrayed us. I mean, I look at the media, I look at the political leadership, look at these entertainers, they ain't worth a damn. I just like our people that we think are for us, they have betrayed us. They have betrayed the community trust.
Okay, practice.
Mm-hmm.
How do you say house Negro?
Cory Booker, no, that's a new name for him, joking. But I just look at that cat, man. He's so lost, man. They scared to talk about race. They scared to talk about anything that deals with black people's issues. They are afraid. And my thing is, if you talk about our issues, it's really the country's issues that you're talking about.
See, a lot of us got through school, set up our careers in the face of racism.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of other people got theirs because they avoided it and hid from it.
Right.
But now they want to be somebody who completes their resume by having the title of this, that, and the other office behind. And they did what they needed to be politically correct. And now it boils down to, are you worth a damn? Show us why you're worth it. I mean, women tell me they think Cory Booker is fine, but I said, I'm a man. I don't look at dudes like that. Like, what the hell has that got to do with why I would vote for him for president? Well, he's black. I said, but like Thurgood Marshall said, a black snake will bite you just as quick as a white one.
This is true. We should have learned that from Obama's Trojan horse deception thing with Obama. Like, I ain't gonna never forget. Yeah, I ain't gonna never forget when I saw this the PBS special on Obama before he got elected, before Election Day. It was a black lady from Harvard who was on the Harvard Law Review with him. and she was crying in her interview. She said, "I couldn't believe he betrayed us like that. I thought he was somebody that he wasn't." And she was crying. It's like it should have like been a warning. Cause he said this guy was so conservative. He thought it with the ego, he thought he was gonna be like a black liberal type, or like he was like, but he was all conservative in his thought process and how he carried himself.
Well, he came from one of the richest households on earth.
Right.
What do you expect? He ain't been around black folk. He was raised in Indonesia. He speaks fluent Indonesian.
Boy, what's that line they pushed, Judge? He didn't pay off his student loans until he was in his 40s.
That's a damn lie. He didn't have to have any student loans.
Right.
His family paid for every goddamn thing.
But people believe that, but they pushing, Judge, like Joseph Goebbels, right? You tell a lie long enough.
Tell a lie long enough, loud enough. And just like Camilla Harris, she'll push the lie like she was smoking weed, listening to Tupac and when they were still kids. They hadn't even come up with anything.
Because you were born in 1964, right, in Oakland, as they say, right?
Yeah.
So in 1984, she would have been 20 years old. You're right. Tupac would have been 13.
Yeah. So what the fuck was you doing listening to Tupac and Ice Cube in the dorm smoking dope when they 13 years old? She's lying through her goddamn teeth, just like Obama, Barry was lying through his damn filthy Republican teeth about him having a car note. That's what it was, car note. That his daddy said he should have, so he experienced having to pay a bill regularly. That's like him lying about having to pay off student loans or doing community, which was another damn lie, community organization.
You know what's interesting, Judge? I ran back in February 2013. I was at Central Barbecue on Central Avenue. I think it's Central, and I ran into Harry Lennox Jr. or the third. That's the light-skinned dude with the cleft chin that played in the Five Heartbeats and was in the movie Ray, and he was the general on Superman, the recent Superman movie. Now, I ran into him, and I heard him say, or people's sources say, that he actually trained Obama to be presidential. Like he was approached by an intelligence organization in the 90s to train Obama to look presidential.
Well, he went to Reverend White's church up in Chicago to learn how to sound preachy.
Right.
And promptly outed the man. Okay,
so I go with that. And also, have you heard, it was two homosexual guys who were friends with Obama at Trinity Church. They both were killed execution style in their homes in the year 2007. One was the choir director at one point at Trinity. And they were both in fear of their lives because they were close to Obama. And both of them were killed in 2007, the same year he announced for his run for president.
Well, you know what his daddy did, don't you?
He was a gangster, right? He was a government gangster goon.
The man that adopted him before he was 2 years old, that raised him, that left him all that money, ran the death squads for the Indonesian army. He ran the Gestapo. And he had the backing of U.S. Standard Oil, who was trying to get advantage of the Indonesian oil reserves, which they couldn't as an American company. So they helped him set up his own company. And he became one of the richest men on the planet Earth as a consequence.
So you call him like that book, Confessions of an Economic Hitman? Was he the economic hitman for multinational corporations?
Economic. He backed it up with what he also is alleged to have done is to have done the muscle work for the CIA in the Southwest Pacific. And his grandmother channeled the money to his stepfather, who was married to her daughter. Because it turns out that as vice president of that particular bank, she was in charge of dispersing CIA funds to the Southwest Pacific.
So Obama's grandparents, his white grandparents, had CIA connections, or they were CIA?
Yeah, and his daddy from Kenya went to an American college based on a fellowship that it now turns out was set up by the CIA to curry favor with people from Kenya. Now, just check that shit out.
So would it be safe to say, can I say then that Obama's really a CIA asset?
Yeah.
He's a product of the CIA. Okay.
And remember, George Bush ran the CIA, so his mama was with the CIA. His grandmama was working with the CIA, and his stepdaddy contracted with the CIA, and they were all best friends with the Bushes. That's why George W. is always giving candy to Michelle.
Family ties. But then, do you think that Obama daddy was killed by design? Was that an accident or was that like a hit? Him getting killed in Kenya?
Kenyan daddy?
Yeah. Because they say he died in a car accident or something.
Okay.
Says,
I don't know what that's about.
Mm-hmm.
But his stepdaddy that adopted him was ran the hit squads.
He died natural causes?
He did.
Okay,
interesting.
Like some of the most sinister people in the world die in their sleep or die of natural causes at old ages. And I don't know what to make of that. It's a crazy world.
80 damn years old, I guess, hell, what with health, that's, you live the ripe old age.
But it's like when you talk about how Bush Sr. got spared, he should have been eating on that island. His liver should have been eating on kidneys. But he was spared and he lived several more decades.
Well,
And JFK didn't make it to 50. He didn't even make it to 50.
Well, John F. Kennedy was a sick man. It's come out that 3 times during his administration, they called in Catholic priests who read last rites over him. His insides were rotting.
Mm-hmm. So he should never been president. He wasn't fit to be president.
He wasn't a healthy man.
All right, what about FDR, though? A lot of these cats, they got health issues, like Eisenhower had all them heart attacks or strokes or whatever while he was in office. And then Woodrow Wilson had that where it paralyzed him for a bit.
Yeah, he had stroke.
So is anybody healthy to be president? Is that really really a crazy position? Mm-hmm.
The office will kill you. It's stressful as hell.
They probably kill LBJ, that office.
He died not long after
Truman. After he left, yeah.
Yeah, after he left, he didn't last long. None of them do, except Ronald Reagan, because that son of a bitch was already brain dead. He wasn't exactly doing anything.
It's interesting. Actually, what do you think about? Have you seen that Sam Cooke documentary on Netflix, the remastered, the 2 killings of Sam Cooke?
No, he's part of the circus thing. Good singer, but
Well, he did a lot for civil rights, though. He tried to do stuff.
Well, yeah, but I'm more interested in people from his era, like Thurgood Marshall.
I got you. Okay. I was gonna say, do you think, just looking at
Malcolm X?
Well, he was friends with Malcolm, of course. Towards the end, they all got together. Him and Cassius and Malcolm and Jim Brown. They talked about it in the documentary. But you don't think something was strange about his death? You don't think that the outcome of what happened to his business, his intellectual property, and the way he died? You don't think
what is so strange about somebody's death is Otis Redding, who sang "Sitting on the Dock of the Bay."
Right.
He died in an airplane crash between Chicago and D.C. Mm-hmm. Also on board were several key witnesses or wives of key witnesses to testify in the Watergate thing.
Okay.
That was a little strange.
About Otis Redding, you sure that was Otis Redding? You talking about something like Howard Hunt wife, the one that killed Howard Hunt, that airplane crash?
Well,
because Otis got killed. He died in December '67. I know that the airplane crash you talked about happened a little bit later because they had that.
No. I'm not talking about I'm sorry, not Watergate. There's more scams going on.
Mm-hmm. It's always some airplane crash. I don't trust them airplane crashes, Judge. I don't think there's such thing as an airplane accident.
Well, what's wrong with an airplane?
That's true. But Otis, I actually met Ben Colley a couple of times. Ben Colley was the only one to survive Otis' airplane when it crashed, and he couldn't even swim.
It wasn't Otis. I'm not. It's not Otis. I'm thinking of another entertainer, black entertainer that was on that plane. It was in 1970.
Yeah, okay. Howard Hunt. Yeah, Howard Hunt's wife was on the plane. She had that money from Nixon. It was like blackmailing Nixon about Watergate or something.
I wouldn't be surprised.
His wife was on the plane. They said she had like $1 million or something. And she had like a woman from a news anchor or news lady from Chicago. I think she was a light skinned black woman or something. And they said the FBI was waiting when the plane crashed and took all that suitcase of money off the plane that she was holding from the Nixon White House. You know what I'm talking about? E. Howard Hunt, the mystery writer, novel, and the spy. I think his name is E. Howard Hunt.
Yeah,
Is
no,
his
that
name?
E. Howard Hunt was not the mystery writer. That was a political activist.
Yeah, but what about the Hunt guy, the CIA?
Yeah, that Hunt you were talking about was with Haldeman and Earl.
Yeah, the Watergate. But his wife was on that plane, and she had money from Nixon. I think they were blackmailing Nixon for like $1 million or something. That's what I read anyway. On that, I know you're talking about the airplane crash in Chicago. That stuff is deep though, because Nixon, they were trying to say that Nixon was involved in the Kennedy assassination. You believe that?
I don't think so.
But Jack Ruby did work for Nixon back in the 40s. They got documents online that show that, a Jack Rubenstein from Chicago worked for Richard Nixon back in the 40s.
I've only gone to the scene, and I don't buy the official story, but, I wasn't into what happened to JFK. Far as I'm concerned, it's a little cosmic justice. His gangster father certainly jacked over a lot of black folk in Boston, not just with his gangster bootlegging activities, but one of the other things he did was to ensure that blacks did not give the whites much competition. Working on the docks and stuff like that. So he kept blacks out of the workforce.
I know Dick Gregory said that the Kennedy administration brought property from the guy who actually killed Medgar Evers, so he had money for a proper defense. Have you heard that?
I haven't heard that.
Biden LeBecq, he got money from the government during the Kennedy administration. Also, the Kennedy administration cut off government help to the black folks in Greenwood back in the fall of '63. So the Kennedys did a lot of stuff that just, like you said, they wire chopped Dr. King, Robert F. Kennedy. His Justice Department wire chopped Dr. King. They did a lot of reprehensible stuff.
Everybody was wiretapping King.
And he still did what he thought was right in the way. He had tapes of him.
Well, they were blackmailed.
Yeah.
What was his homeboy, Rustin?
Yeah, they talking about the gay one, or you talking about like Abernathy?
Bayard Rustin.
Yeah, the gay activist. Yeah, the openly gay.
That's what they were. That's what they were blackmailing him about. Now I'll just leave it at that.
I know you know some stuff, Judge. You just probably just keep to yourself. But I'm gonna ask you this though: what's your take on the King family, like the descendants of this great man? What's your take on them?
I think they would do better if they stopped fighting amongst themselves to see who is going to come out on top. Like some things I would like to contact Dexter. You try to call and get Dexter, and they give you the roundabout talking about somebody will assess whether you can get to him. So other people, if you want to get them, you can get them, but not certain other people.
But look, the stuff you did to help the family get some type of closure on what happened to their father, though.
Well, I have decent relations with Dexter, I think. But I'm just saying they need to be a little bit more circumspect in what they're doing trying to jockey for power. That happens in families where, after the great one goes, the others bash each other around trying to see who's going to get the power.
That's interesting though, I know people who are related to Malcolm and other folks like that, and I think the thing about it is it's not even about bloodline. It's just it was something in them to do what they had to do, for their time. They just answered the call. So I don't necessarily expect the families of these people to be on the level of their loved one or whatever, or their great one.
See, and some people don't get that. The only people that talk about being called these days are jackleg preachers.
Right, and we love it. You know what? Somebody made a good point. They said like the same folks, the same group of people that support R. Kelly support the black preacher. That's the black women. Black women love R. Kelly. I ain't saying all black women, but like a lot of black women support the black preachers, the ones who take advantage of the women. So I just think it's interesting.
Well, you know, the ones that take advantage of black women are supported by the black women because that's what they use to take advantage of the black women.
Right. It's an interesting conundrum. Cause I was telling some sisters because we were talking about R. Kelly recently. I said, you know what? R. Kelly loved y'all, even the girls. You know, he ain't like Bill Cosby. He stood with his own. He took advantage of his own. That's how much he loved y'all.
Well, that woman that took him down was a black woman. She just kind of hightailed. She used to be fine.
Yeah, what happened though?
Like Frank is now.
Like Frank
no,
and
but
Barry.
what happens with a lot of these hashtag Me Too girls,
they
start off as bisexual and then start morphing into mostly lesbian. And then anything they did voluntarily becomes, you know, they were exploited by a man because surely had it not been for an evil man, they wouldn't have done what they did.
So Kamala Harris could have turned out like one of these Me Too dykes.
Yeah, if she hadn't been successful, but now she's the best senator. See, a whole lot more of them could have been just like that too, but they were successes at what they did.
It's kind of like it's the Olivia Pope effect from Scandal. How she was a bad wench and a house negress, but she was sleeping with the president, so it was okay to be the president's side chick. Now, a lot of black women like that show, and she was nothing but the president's whore. But she was a very powerful whore.
Yeah, but see, that is a reality, but, you know, use a hoe. You just get paid more.
That's right. But I also see a lot of these organizations, like you go into the government, there's a lot of black women are the gatekeepers. That which is interesting. I'm in Memphis. We in Memphis, right? So I go around Memphis and I see a lot of broken black men. I ain't gonna say a lot, but a lot of us seem we broken. Like I see older guys begging for little pennies and dollars on the street. Even younger guys lack a sense of hustle. They broken. I mean, young guys in their 20s, they out there begging, and you know, I go to these places, I see empowered black women, and not necessarily for our good as black people, but they're empowered to make life and death decisions.
Well, see, that's because it's a lot easier for the power structure to let them in, and they are non-threatening. You see, you can let them in, and they are like your secretary, but they look like they're in charge.
Right.
And they're sisters, and the sisters like being with somebody who's in charge. So they don't get it that they aren't going to let a black man get in these positions. But they will put a sister in there because she doing what she's doing is lapsing back into being a house Negro slave. And the house Negro slave gave the white man no problems like his white wife gave him problems. See?
Right.
So she's also politically correct by having her in there. So this guy gets 2 for 1. He gets a PC advantage, and he gets a woman to do his bidding who isn't going to give him the flack that a wife would have given him.
Man, interesting. You say I was thinking about, was it Kamala Harris? I'm about to call her Kamala. She went to HBCU, right, Judge? She even messed with a guy like Willie Brown, but she ended up with a white dude.
Yeah.
That she don't even talk about. He don't even go on the press junkets with her or nothing. You know,
of course.
She hides him.
To hide him right now.
Right.
She's a Hindu. See, you know what being a Brahmin is. See, they're at the top of the heap in India.
Okay.
They also are interesting. You remember Adolf Hitler talking about Aryan Superman?
Right.
See, That's what Kamala Harris is really an Aryan. The
The
Aryans
real
are
one.
a real one. That's what they look like. And you see the bullshit that the Nazis had. Because the Aryan super race they were talking about looks just like Kamala Harris. And by the way, in India and in anthropology, what she is classified as Caucasian.
Whoa. Aryan. All right. Caucasian. So she said she a person of color. She's not even a person of color then.
No, she's not a person of color. See, what she is, a Brahmin, that's the top of the heap. See, the Brahmins in India still perpetrate what they call untouchability,
right,
which is the people at the bottom are looked at as so inferior that they are looked at as subhuman.
So that's us then. That's black people, right? Would it be black people?
Yeah, that's us.
Mm-hmm.
We made black men in the Bay Area into American untouchables.
Woo. Oh, my God. And Judge, whoa. People gonna be like, wow.
If you went to India, Kamala Harris is not a person of color. She is a member of the Brahmin class that all other classes have to serve.
So what type of mind that she's not even from here really? She was born in Oakland. I believe that what she said, but she was raised in Canada.
San Francisco area.
Yeah, this is the Bay Area. But she was raised in Canada. But what made her mind?
Through 12th grade.
Was she like a Rachel Dolezal? I'm trying to figure out why she go to Howard then? Why not Harvard? Why not Stanford? Why Howard? Like, was she thinking about this?
Because she had a long-term plan.
Exactly.
And
wow.
It's like, okay, I remember a chick at UCLA, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, looked like she was Nordic. You know how she got in?
How to get in?
On a special all-expenses-paid program. Claimed to be a Native American.
Oh, I know who that is.
No, you don't know who it is in particular.
Okay.
She wasn't a bad person. And she just said, am I a blonde-haired, blue-eyed German, or am I a follower of Geronimo? The joke with that shit. But see,
wow.
She was getting a full scholarship in law school and everything paid for. So
she was a scholarship Indian or a $5 Indian. That's like Elizabeth Warren right there. So-called Cherokee. It's an insult.
Yeah. So, I mean, when you get into it and you think about it that way, you say it's a hustle. It's nothing but a hustle.
But okay, if she was thinking long term, how come not marry a black man from the HBCU? But I guess she's a Hindu. She can't do that. She's a Brahmin. She can't. That'd be a violation, right?
Yeah. What I'm saying is her father wasn't much black. He was from St. Elizabeth Parish, which everybody starts in St. Elizabeth Parish with being as pale as I am and lighter.
So, man. Wow.
See, they're a part of the Commonwealth. So that means India, Pakistan, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, all of these folk are mixed up in the British Commonwealth.
Okay.
And Daddy had a little bit of black in him. And Mama was a Hindu. And what he had in him besides little bit of black was a lot of Hindu from the daddy side too.
Wow. And yet people say she's going to be the first black woman president, and it's not even true. It's not even...
Well, let's put it this way. We still haven't had our first ADOS black president.
Yes, you're right. You're correct.
We still haven't had anything yet. And if you get her, she won't be. But ain't it a shame that the first somebody that looks black had nothing to do with all the rest of the blacks in this country?
It is a damn shame. But we put them there. We helped put them there, though.
I know that, but we got bamboozled. That boy doesn't have any damn connection with us.
We had since we probably should have voted for Cynthia McKinney, who's from Georgia. Her folks from Georgia.
No. You know who we should have voted for?
In 2008?
Yeah.
Who?
John McCain.
Wait a minute. Oh, okay, go on. I had to laugh a little bit. Go ahead, Judge. Okay, yes, sir.
I'm a grandparent now, and
Uh-huh.
being a grandparent causes you to think a different kind of way. John McCain's grandchildren are more black than Barack Obama.
Mm.
Because guess what? His daughter-in-law is a dark brown black woman.
Mm.
So daughter-in-law and son had grandchildren that look as black as Barack Obama.
Wow.
And mama had history in America. So, you know, like if your grandchildren or something, you ain't going to down what you're leaving your legacy to, you know?
Right, right.
So I just said, you know what? McCain probably would have been as sensitive to the plight of American black because of his several qualified black American grandchildren.
He tried for years to get Jack Johnson pardoned too. I mean,
He sure as hell did.
yeah. I mean, I got some things, but you know what? I liked John McCain in 2000 when he was going against Bush the Younger, the W. I liked him on the Straight Talk Express. I liked him. I ain't know too much about politics, but I like he was a so-called maverick. But maybe you might be correct on that, Judge. We might be looking at a different America right now.
Yeah, in other words, we had what looked to us to be a black man, but
Right.
nobody checked out his background. But his opponent had grandchildren who were more black than the person we were in love with.
Yeah.
So let's put it this way. If you're a grandchild, you love your if you're a grandparent, you love your grandchildren.
Yep. For better or for worse. Yeah. Yep.
So the person we rejected had more of a connection to us than the one we thought was us.
Yeah.
Just think about it.
I'm thinking about it now. It's 2019. We got a lot. We had.
And he's dead. But
Yeah.
I mean, it was a mistake. I think it would have been a better president. We would have gotten more out of him than we got.
But it's because we don't know how to act. I mean, that's our problem. How to demand, like what Frederick Douglass said, power concedes nothing without a demand. We didn't have people who are in positions to demand anything.
That's right. But you see, that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm saying Kamala Harris is a goddamn snake.
And people are catching up with you, Joe. I think a lot of us are hearing you, and I don't think she's gonna make it out of 2019.
No, and I hope to be the one that kept her tacky, lame, fake ass from getting there.
And like even with
what? Let me tell you the story. I've never told it to you before.
Well, go ahead and tell again,
I'm at UCLA. When I get to UCLA, they got 60-some thousand full-time students.
Mm-hmm.
They have 145 full-time black students. That consisted of 73 full-time black grad students and 72 full-time black undergrads. All right? We busted our ass, got locked up, jacked up, all kinds of other stuff. We did some stuff I'm not going to talk about yet. And we wound up getting the administration to agree to say, okay, aside from those who get in through regular admission, we're going to admit a block of 250 more black students. That's a hell of a lot more than the 145 total on all grades, including grad school. All right?
Mm-hmm.
So we got the 250 in. They were cool.
Mm.
They were down for the call. So we got the second 250 in, and those goddamn handkerchief head house Negroes weren't worth a damn for the most part. And I remember they decided, some of them, that the BSU was too militant and it jeopardized their standing. So they were going to have their own election, and they had a sneak little secret election, and it was an illegal one. And they sent an announcement to the L.A. Times that, you know, a new BSU election at UCLA. Why in the hell are you telling the Times? But anyway, the fool that got elected BSU president was a punk. He's dead now, but I owed him a behind with it. And we were getting ready to make a move on something. So LAPD was there, LA County Sheriff's Department, the California Highway Patrol, Ventura County Sheriffs, you know, and the University Police. So we say, all right, you could be as you president, fool. Come on, let's go. Oh, yeah, well, brother, it's not that I don't empathize with what you're doing, and I know the sacrifices all of you have made, that got the rest of us where we are, but I can't afford to jeopardize my career. You'll have to go on without me. So grab that fool. So we grabbed him and literally drug him. He was so scared he was shaking. He couldn't stand up, and then he pissed on himself.
Damn.
He had on some gray slacks, and you could see the dark piss stain that was turning yellowish going down his left leg. There was a pool of piss around his left foot.
Mm-hmm.
And we let him go. He collapsed to the ground, crawled away, and then got up and ran. He was a punk and a coward. See, and I look at Barack Obama as one of these sleazy type of worms who snuck in off of the doings of their better, who opened these doors, and the bastard got in there and he tried to kick the damn door shut so nobody else could get in. Cory Booker is one of those kind of Negroes that didn't do a goddamn thing. And the same thing with this fake one, Kay Harris, who is a Brahmin, officially classified as Caucasian, where her home folk are from. And she's running here trying to set up a new class of untouchability in the United States, meaning us.
Oh, man, that's so deep. And she did it in California. That was a blueprint.
Hell did. And then she blocked Munson from getting prosecuted when all these other local DA's offices were getting ready to put him in front of a grand jury.
We know Willie Brown got an interesting sense of humor because in his article he said when he came out, say he quote unquote dated Harris, he said she'll put his ass in jail for jaywalking. So he was trying to talk about how she treat black men. What he was trying to say signify her treatment of black men in California?
Yep. They hate her in Oakland. You saw that so-called turnout for her announcement?
Yeah, that's the birthplace of the Panthers.
About 5 to 6% of the crowd was black, and she's in Oakland. They couldn't stand her ass.
It's funny. People talk about how people some black folks talk about Obama in Chicago. I mean, I meet some black folks say, "Oh yeah, he was great," and then some black folks say he was a fraud. And I don't know what to believe.
He was a fraud.
Okay.
What he was doing with the so-called community development law firm he was with, which happens to be the oldest Republican law firm in America. So old that they helped Lincoln get all of his financing together for his first run for president.
Oh, he was first Republican, right? First Republican president was Lincoln?
Yeah. And what wound up happening is, see, in Chicago, they had this huge blight. And back in the early 70s, it was a no man's land from about the end of the downtown area out to 58th Street, okay?
Okay.
So Chicago came up with this homestead program where if you go in there and you take an abandoned property and you restore it, they'd give you title. So all of these black folk had gone in there and restored all of these derelict buildings. So the client of the law firm wanted to develop it, so he needed to get the property. So Obama's job was going to Reverend White's church to learn how to speak preaching and go out and try to get the community to agree to sell their homestead properties to the white developer that his law firm represented.
Wow. That's some gangster stuff, man.
And speaking of gangster, he represented a gangster through his law firm. He used to carry his briefcase all the time. And on Sunday, apparently they got notified that they were going to submit an indictment or get an indictment returned on Monday. And he was invited to come in to surrender himself Monday afternoon. He worked out through his lawyers, including Barry. And what happened is early Monday, he signed over all his property interest to his wife, who had a tenancy in common anyway. So what happens is she files the deed on Tuesday. On Wednesday, she negotiates with the Obamas, and she gives the property to the Obamas, and they file their deeds on Thursday. Not a damn dime has been exchanged, and they indicted this man on a RICO count containing indictment, which is organized crime, so they try to go after everything, houses, cars, bank accounts, any kind of thing, and they didn't touch that damn house. So I said, that's fraud right there. And then I looked at him when he got elected to the state legislature. Mysteriously, his opponent died during the course of the election. So he was running against a dead man. And then when he ran for U.S. Senate, where the Republican had to resign due to a scandal, his opponent for that office died before the election. And then the Heritage Foundation, which is a crank right-wing think tank that gives out report cards to various and sundry congressmen and senators for their voting records, they gave, get this, they gave Barack Obama their third highest rating for conservative votes. They gave him an A. The highest scoring person was 95. The next highest person was 94 plus, and Obama was 94. He had the lowest voting record in the U.S. Senate, but the third most conservative. Now, see, that's who we got in as U.S. president.
Oh, that black lady from the Harvard Law Review tried to warn us about his classmate.
Well, look at here. Let me say something about that. That's punk ass. Law review is difficult, but it's a hell of a lot different from somebody 23 years old being on law review and somebody 31. He didn't go to law school until he enrolled when he was 29 years old, and he graduates at 33. So he's not any 22, 21-year-old enrolling in law school. There's a hell of a maturity factor going on there.
So that's who he is, though. I mean, it's like he's really a conservative.
Well, yeah, and see, he didn't enroll in college until he was 21 because Daddy sent him on a tour around the world to familiarize himself. You know how rich folk do that. They send their kids around so they can tour the world.
But yeah, like when his mom died of cancer, she didn't have no health insurance or whatever, not enough or something.
Oh, she had plenty.
Okay, so I don't know what to believe.
She didn't really need it. Your husband is one of the richest men in the world, and he runs Indonesia on the basis of fear because he's got the death squad. He'll kill you.
Indonesian Stalin.
Yeah, and by the way, have you seen the contest they had in Indonesia for presidential lookalikes? They got 2 or 3 people look just like him, and they're from Indonesia.
No, Bubba. Well, who is Daddy for real? 'Cause I think it's a black American dude from Chicago that is Daddy, but okay.
No, his real daddy, biological daddy, is from Kenya.
So you feel okay.
Yeah. So there's a question as to whether he actually married Barack's mother. But in any event, Lolo Sotoro adopts Barry Sotoro before he's 2 years old.
No, that's his father, legally.
Yeah. And his legal name is Barry Sotoro, not Barack Obama.
So why? See what I'm saying? So, hell, forget the birth certificate. How come they ain't forced him to go by his legal name?
Wait a minute. Get back to why George W. Bush is always giving Michelle candy. Remember I went on here and told you about I stumbled on that photograph of George Herbert Walker Bush, future president, on the golf course with Lolo Sotoro, the ran the death squads, and at that time vice president of Standard Oil. And sitting in another golf cart is George W. Bush with his arm around the youngster standing on the grass, who is Barack Obama, a.k.a. Barry Sotoro, when he's about 8 years old. They go back a long, long way.
Can we find this photo on Google, Judge, or they removed it?
I found it. You may have to go to page 1200 and something. And then, they let you take stuff down if you're VIP enough that's embarrassing or you don't want it. You find 2 things that'll be hard to find. George Herbert Walker, whom George Herbert Walker Bush is named after, you will find that he founded Halliburton in 1946 after it had gone defunct. It was originally chartered in 1919 in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
You will find that Lolo Sotoro is mentioned, but it's a very bifurcated mention of him.
Mm.
But there are other ways you can get into it. You'll get clues if you look at the stuff.
Wow, this is some deep stuff.
Yes, but what did the CIA do?
Well, what did they do? They did so many things. Or they doing so many things.
Yeah, but remember, one of the people involved in this is the former director of the CIA and former president of the United States.
Right, H.W. Bush. Yeah.
Now, think about what you have resources to get done.
Mm. Oh, this is like
And they had a thing on today. One man on the Mayflower was the ancestor for 5 U.S. presidents, including the Bushes.
Wow. Mm.
And then look at this shit. CNN ran a little special on this one. They got that AncestryDNA.com thing back. And guess who are blood relatives? Dick Cheney, right-wing crank vice president, Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in America, Brad Pitt, the actor, and Barack Obama.
Oh, yeah. That's crazy.
See, I'm angry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in my 70s, and I did all of this, and I know people that got killed and all kinds of other stuff. No, we didn't make the papers or anything like that because we weren't, peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't get jacked up and convicted of anything. But we were doing the right kind of thing, and I'm just pissed at all of the sacrifices we made, and all these half-stepping Negroes come in now trying to act like they're people of color.
Right. Well, a lot of these people, like especially these millennial leaders, they don't know the history.
They weren't there. They didn't do it. But what I know is I was there. I did it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like the fact that they're trying to come in and co-opt it.
Yeah.
And like the other thing is co-opted for what?
Mm.
Who gets to piss in the girls' bathroom?
But it's like what's going on right now. It kind of makes me appreciate James Baldwin a little bit more. He knew that race became before his sexual preferences. He understood he was a black man before he was a gay man.
Well, yeah, that helps. But too many now become gay or emphasize gay to escape the consequences of being black.
See, there's a lot of racist gay people. I mean, like, look at Hitler's people, the brown shirts, the essays. They were a bunch of racist gay dudes.
Oh, man.
He was afraid of them. He killed all. He was Knight of the Long Knives. He was afraid of them gay dudes.
Yes, indeed.
But I mean, we don't think about that. Ed Buck out in California killing all them black male prostitutes, experimenting on them and giving them all types of Nazi type of treatment, drugs, or whatever they was doing on them. That Ed Buck guy, he's protected by these powerful Democrats.
Yep.
Including Harris, Kay Harris. And Judge, you got me looking at her a different way now. That Aryan stuff. I mean, that Brahmin Hindu.
She's a white girl.
She a white girl, but nobody.
She's one of Hitler's folks.
But this is the thing, though, Judge. She be on these shows like the Breakfast Club. I know you know what the Breakfast Club is, right? You familiar with the Breakfast Club? These guys don't have a clue. I mean, you need to go in there and educate them guys, especially Charlamagne.
Well, I told him, I said, man, you send me there. I'm not playing a plane fight to New York to get on the Breakfast Club.
Right, they can pay you. No, they should. They need you to school them.
Take care of my ticket? Hell no. I ain't that silly.
Well, they got money though. I would say they got a budget. But I'm saying they got her on the show twice, and these guys don't ask her no questions. They're like fanboys. They don't ask for
what
nothing
you need
deep.
to do is let me on there with that bitch's ass. I'm putting this bitch's on your ass.
That go viral real quick.
Let me cut your ass up and let people know what a fraud you are. What the hell did you do in the position of power you were in to do something to rehabilitate these young black men? That's a lie, because I know what that means, because I'm an insider too. I know you're lying, all right? And tell me about you smoking weed, listening to Tupac and Ice Cube while you were in college.
So she should have said like she should have said Ice T, like you just said. That'd been more believable. Maybe Ice T. She actually said she's a Too Short fan too. I like okay.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, come on, tell me another damn lie. You bullshit artist. And when you were in school, what did you do about pushing the envelope? Oh, you joined. My mother was in that sorority. She turned over in her grave, listening to this nonsense.
But a lot of them AKA girls, can't say a lot of them, but some of them, they going hard for it. They can't, they going hard for Kamala or Camilla. I guess, I'm sorry. I keep on thinking she's Kamala, but since she's not black, I guess Kamala is more appropriate. Yeah, but I just hope.
What she did with Willie Brown, I don't blame him. She probably paid the pictures on page 219, and then at 917 out the Kama Sutra on him.
Willie Brown, he's a character though.
She put some Kama Sutra on that boy.
That what it was? Yeah.
Yeah, he couldn't help himself. That Kama Sutra got too strong.
Oh, friend boy Willie Brown.
She worked some of that Brahmin magic on it. She put baby, I'm going to give you page 19 in the middle, 217 at the top, and 914 at the bottom.
And she did something on. She a sorceress of some type. She worked at witchcraft. It's magic.
She's good at the booty.
Yeah, I mean, she's not a bad looking woman. I mean, even when she was younger. I mean, when she first came out. Huh?
For a white woman.
Yeah, for a white woman, she ain't that bad. She ain't that bad. But but some people will say that a lot of us are critical of her because I don't know, because I forgot what it. I remember like when Obama first ran, some people thought he wasn't black enough to be president. I said that's kind of stupid. I don't know how whoever was black enough to be president. What that mean? You know how they were saying he wasn't black enough? They actually were making the case, kind of like how they doing Kamala now or Camilla, like she's not black enough.
Well, hers has got more to do with they aren't even aware of the reality.
Mm-hmm.
But her problem is more to do with frankly, her action.
Mm-hmm.
She ain't done a damn thing for the people. Not growing up, not in college, and certainly not where she had so much she could have done as an assistant DA and then the DA.
Yeah, she just let it. There was an opportunity she just let go by for opportunity.
Yeah, all she did was go around courting favors with the folks she should have been prosecuting, who had big money, so she could put them to use later on when she decided to run for some kind of office.
And now she's where she want to be almost. She's closer to where she need to be, I guess, or what she's trying to get. But I don't know.
What she needs to get is to get her ass turned out of office or prosecuted for malfeasance.
I don't know, man. I look at the Democrats right now. We talked about it earlier in the conversation. I don't see none of them beating Trump. I don't
either.
Trump is, he's smart. I mean, he's very. I mean, I just like it. Just tripped me out that people say, "Oh, he's so stupid." He's not stupid. He's where he's want to be. He is where he want to be.
Don't you get it? This is how a person look.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't want to make the direct connection, but this is how Adolf got what he wanted. Folk underestimating his ass.
Mm-hmm.
And you keep talking that shit. See, you don't realize what I'm getting done behind the scenes.
Now, he getting a lot of stuff done that he wants to get done.
Well, you know what is so bad about this whole thing that is so stupid? He actually has done more for us than Obama did.
It's shaping to look like that. I mean, he's not even out his first term yet. Yeah.
Yeah, he hadn't even finished it halfway through.
Mm-hmm.
He just finished half of his term.
Right. Well, close. Yeah, he's close to it. But I mean, it's like what he said during his campaign.
8 damn years.
Yeah. And I heard black folks saying, I heard us saying, well, he's gonna do something the second term. We just had to give him elected the second time. He'll do something for us.
Didn't do a damn thing. And then the insult is when he could have done everything, he did nothing. He nominated 2 Hispanic lesbians for the U.S. Supreme Court. He got them in. And then the last gesture he did was the white boy he nominated for U.S. Supreme Court was a staunch conservative Republican white boy who on the Second Circuit had repeatedly been the one out of the 3-member panel to vote to keep the brother in jail after a wrongful conviction. See, what you done did for the folk? Nothing. Well, look at it this way. People may claim, they faked the numbers. Well, you mean to tell me nobody else could get the numbers faked? And you got the highest black employment rate in the last 50 years? Most money to historical black colleges in the last 50 years? Some commitment from the White House to judicial reform and prison reform. And he did pardon Jack Johnson, too. Some people, that don't mount. He dead. Yeah, it makes a difference. That's why the military gives posthumous congressional medals of honor and stuff, because it's honor from the people. It's honor to the people to give honor to those who have sacrificed or done things that reflect positively.
It's like when Teddy Roosevelt did wrong by the 25th Regiment, the Brownsville raid. He messed over those black soldiers, especially the one who saved his life. Just messed over their good name. It was a white dude that went against Roosevelt. He sacrificed his run as president, this senator. Sacrificed his career to do right by the black soldiers, but it took him almost 70 years to get that right wrong. That wrong righted. And only one person was still alive out of 167 black troops. Only one was still alive. And he died, they did in 72. The government did, and he died in 77. But it destroyed them guys' lives. And their family had to live in shame. It's just sad, man. It's sad that, but once again, black people, we so loyal. We the best soldiers. We the best patriots. We do things. We try to, we love this country so much, and we don't get nothing in return. We try to do right by the people. We try to be a friend to everybody but ourselves. But we got to change it. But I think it's changing, though. I think that the tide is shifted, Judge, especially with you having a presence on social media. People are really listening to what you're saying and picking up on some of the things, especially with the Harris lady, the Kay Harris lady. So how you feel about that? How you feel about that? How people is really tuning into you right now, even though you're not on TV?
Yeah, well, good. That's great. I just broke 8,000 today.
That's excellent.
And I don't have a blue check. People saying, why don't I have a blue check? I said, because they don't give me one. I can't make them.
So why do people want things to be official? They only know the official story is the official line. Sometimes it's best to be look unofficial. That's how you get on underground.
And then some idiots, you can't be the real Judge Joe Brown talking like this. Why not?
And that's another thing. People see another side of you. People get to see another side of you outside the court show.
No, the ones that really can't stand it, the real Judge Joe Brown wouldn't be saying these things like that, but the real Judge Brown is. You a bunch of punk ass whatever so and so.
And just how can people connect with you once again? How can people connect?
That's it. Judge Joe Brown TV. Judge Joe Brown TV. All together. The first initials are capital and the rest are small chord. At Judge Joe Brown TV. And TV is both T and V are capitalized.
Yeah, you've been very generous with your time tonight. Do you have any closing words or thoughts you'd like to share?
Yeah, and this year coming up, pay careful attention. Let's not get bamboozled. And remember, no benefit, no vote. No history, no vote. No merit, no reward. So that's no benefit, no vote, no history, no vote, no benefit, no reward.
Thank you, Judge, so much for your words of wisdom and for sharing your time with us. We are always humble and appreciative, and the people greatly appreciate your service to humanity. So in the words of Great Duke Ellington, we love you madly. Keep on producing and pushing.
Thank you, brother. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
Ciao.